Hi, welcome to another mod stream, this time in the morning. As was foretold, we're back. Not sure how many in a row we'll string together this time around, but you never know. Could happen. Sorry, just getting some music put on. Welcome to my lair. Alright. Let's get popping over here, boys. We gotta get some work done on finishing up implementing the architect, at least on our end, figure out what's going wrong with the unit in terms of its attack. Now, I thought maybe that one of the reasons why it might be broken is because I copied it from the Reaver, and there might be some like flag or something that stops it from having a traditional auto attack. But I don't really see anything in here that would indicate as such. Oh yeah, it's because it's idle Reaver. That's why it's supposed to be 2, 2, 2, 10, 2. Easy. Well, it only started a little while ago, but we're gonna get off to a nice, good opening start. I've got a hammer meat anvil at 2 p.m., so I gotta prep for that. I already did a little bit yesterday. Shouldn't be too difficult to do, so the stream will probably only go for about 2.5, 3 hours. But during that time, I expect we'll be able to smash out some pretty good stuff. And put ourselves a little bit closer to shipping a patch. What's up, Alexander? Welcome. And obviously, we got another big one, another epic, large-scale, mega interview. That's coming as well. Stay tuned for that. That'll be Friday. I gotta prep for that one after I'm done with the Hammer Meat Anvil this afternoon. And I'll probably work on the Batman video as well today because it's been a long time since I've done that. I realized that one of the ways, like a strategy that I've developed to look at the Batman review, is I kind of want to find a way to almost treat it in a similar fashion to the map crap thing that happened, where I've decided I'm going to make a comedy project, a smaller scale comedy project, instead of Deliverance, because of the fact that we're, you know, we can't really use the maps that I've made for Deliverance because they're too large scale. You'd have like cannot create more units, or the AI would exceed some internal limits there and crash, which is something that like we could, in theory, we could fix that problem, but not in less than a month, you know. So I'm essentially just going to map crap a bunch of campaign levels and hope that they work. And we'll basically just leave it at that for now. But it makes you sort of recontextualize what you want out of the experience. And if you just want something that plays well, that is okay in terms of its scale, and that shows off all of the different units and like tech tree changes, that's definitely something that I'm pretty happy about. So, I'm definitely happy to put my name on something like that if I can pull it off correctly. So, as goofy and silly as it's going to end up being, that's essentially the goal. That's where we're going. So, given that we just fixed up the architect, we should be able to preview that. Yeah, it's working. Although it's obviously going to need a It's going to need some sort of overlay for it. So given all that's happened recently, which Brood War projects are still on the table? Well, all of them are on the table in the new engine. I don't think I'm going to be doing anything besides map crap style things where I just want to make a map for the sake of making a map. Or I want to make another melee map or scenario map so that we can play it on fraud nights or something. Like, other than that, why would I bother working inside a shitty engine if I have an alternative? Or if I would rather spend like any project I would like to take seriously can't be done in Brood War. Like Deliverance was not a very large scale project. Relative to the original game, yeah, it's probably the most large scale project that's ever been attempted in terms of the size of maps, number of enemies. But that's because HYDRA is like that. And HYDRA has like, no supply limit and all that. But we were already at the limit of the map sizes and the player counts, and it wasn't even particularly that large scale for what I wanted. Like, there are maps that I'm going to make in the new engine that will make the Deliverance maps look tiny by comparison, and those will be the actual large scale maps. Like, that's what I want out of it, right? Maps that are like twice the size, maybe on the higher end, because I think there is a limit to how big you can make a map. But something like a 512 by 512. As far as a single player campaign map goes, should probably be like the upper echelon, maybe even less than that. At the very least, something like 320 by 320 would be reasonable, I think. So yeah, ultimately, there's not really much of a reason to stick with the existing shit. Like, the only reason we would want to settle for Brood War is if it was a project that actually could fit within Brood War's incredibly tight confines. Yeah, like most of the stuff that you'll see me streaming, if it's not like map craps, it'll be engine development. And then obviously, like once we get the engine to the point where it's functioning, and we can actually start porting HYDRA stuff. I mean, like I'm not sure what our process will look like, but I'm willing to bet that it'll probably be a little like there will be some low-hanging fruit that we can achieve at various points. Like maybe our first objective will be to get a Marine onto a blank map or something, And then it'll be to like get the Marine animated. And like there's all these sub goals or sub objectives that come out as a result of that. Like you need to be able to create a blank map, and you need to be able to place a Marine, and you need to be able to actually have a Marine to place in the first place. So there's all that stuff, right? And so we'll almost have these like really low-hanging fruit main objectives that split off into like requiring certain systems to be implemented. And so we'll implement those systems, but the idea is that the payoff is we can run around in a blank map with a Marine at the end of it. You know what I mean? And then, so there'll be shit like that. Then we'll try to like, all right, let's make it do damage to another Marine, or let's make a barracks that creates that Marine or something. You know what I mean? Like, and eventually, like in theory, we would be able to go deeper with that. But yeah, I'm not interested in continuing to work within the Brood War engine for anything that I want to take seriously, precisely because of the fact that all of the serious ideas I have are ideas that are like they're just too big scale wise. Like if you remember back to when I was working on Stormborn, like even though that map is 256 by 256, I have made maps since then that are way bigger in scope because like the player count is higher or the number of active players on the map is like in some way it facilitates larger scale battles. There are more resources, or there's more areas to take fights in, or something like that, right? Or the map is just better structured to the point where you actually have opportunity for bigger scale stuff, like larger fights or something like that. Like the spacing might be better. And to that extent, like what do you have to look at? If Stormborn couldn't work because of the unit limit and other internal limits, and we can't fix those limits, then any map that tries to be bigger than Stormborn is obviously also not going to work. And so, like, if I couldn't even make that one happen, I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem right. Oh, I just realized this button is not aligned. Veek? You trying to be fired? Dude, this is probably a PQ thing if I had to guess, but what the fuck? Can you believe this? If this doesn't trigger you, I don't know what will. Look. Top bar. Check that out, man. That's epic. I don't even know if Veek is still here, but if he is, he just got triggered. Oh yeah, I was going to replace the madcap graphic at some point. Then I guess I'll be correcting some lighting issues. I think I already had yeah, figured as much. So I should be able to copy the muzzle flash from another source. Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is going to show up in, for example, that co-op mod that I've got planned. Acropolis. So, I mean, without being able to say too much about the specifics, because that mod or that mode is not actually implemented anywhere, so I don't really know exactly what it would look like in that sense. I'm pretty sure it's something that would be nice to. I would at least like to give it a shot, because I think you can do a lot with map objectives and stuff like that, where they're not like objectives in the sense of, oh, look at me, I'm completing an objective and checking it off on a list of objectives, but it's more like map objects that provide value. So I already have a few of those planned. Like I've come up conceptually with a few anyway. Yeah, like the main problem is that the idea is fine, but you have to criticize the execution as opposed to criticizing the concept. Like you can also do the StarCraft approach where there aren't really map objectives as much as there are some terrain features now and then that's the that is another way to do it, but uh, you. All right, so that didn't make a huge difference, but it's enough that it hopefully won't completely remove some of the color. All right, how many frames do we have in here? 186. Yeah, like if you want to rely solely on terrain, which I think more people are familiar with, generally speaking, so that might end up helping. But you can also create a nice synergy between the two. So $11.41, $11.42, $4.75. Oh yeah, I was also going to take a look at the architect and set its pause a little bit lower. Should be able to close that now. Not sure how that one happened again, but tall boy. I guess we can probably drop its... I think the only thing here is that for the attack... It looks like it does do that, so... Probably just needs the weight one down here to properly loop or something, because sometimes it does that, I don't know why. Yeah. Alright, looks like we're gonna test out iQuare's latest fix for the Madrigal issue that we observed earlier. So what's up, Luciferius? What are you up to? I have to go find all variations of... all instances of it saying this and change it to A1 now. Actually, I'm not sure what DW point is. All this is just to place the scanner suite, by the way. Because Blizzard does not know how to program. I mean, some of it might be compiler stupidity, but still. Woof. Just chillin', huh? I don't know why deleting something copies it to my clipboard in this program. That is some real psychotic shit. This wasn't really that difficult, I don't think. At least so far. I know it's famous last words. but not sure why we need V4 at all if we can just do this. Like, what the fuck is the point? Wow. Oh, okay. So we're looking at Zerg, Terran, or Protoss. I would care about readability a bit more if this wasn't just a quick fix to change one thing. Dude, I remember hot chocolate. I haven't had that in a minute. Oh, fixed target location is already in. Although it seems to be... Oh, it's just defined in a different way, it looks like. That's also here. Alright, so let me just... Clearly A2 is not supposed to be a .32. Why the fuck would you need to convert energy into that? Well, I think maybe it is supposed to be some sort of coordinate, but because it's using it for location. What the fuck? Dude, I've... What a disaster. Alright, let me finish defining these functions and I'll get at the rest later. Alright, so this is one we have to add. Really? Wait, A2 just gets rewritten later on anyway. So what the fuck is this? I've no... Why? For what purpose? That's never loaded at all. They don't care about this at all. They write data to it, but they don't do anything else. That is some fucking insane shit. Wow. What does this take? What the fuck? Wait, why does it take .16 exactly? Maybe DW point is 0.16? I'm pretty confused. Now, fixed target location already existed before. Oh, okay. That's what it was. No idea why this started complaining. I'll try to rebuild after I'm done here. Like, clean it and then rebuild it. It says ECX. Oh, wait. I jumped the gun here. Was it? I think it was ECX again. Yeah. All right, that should be good. Dude, what a weird fucking... Apparently it got replaced with a macro, the min call in here. So it looks like we'll have a sec before we can actually... before this problem will be fixed, and then I can build and test, make sure scanner sweep isn't bugged. Just laughing about that insane line of code. A classic. It's very funny Mutas doesn't. It's fucking hilarious. Basically, they convert the active energy of a unit into coordinates and write that to a variable and then never use that variable. So not only would it be not useful at all as coordinates, they don't even fucking use it afterwards. That's pretty funny to me. I guess I can try commenting out the spawn broodling thing for now, so that I can build it and test it. When you guys see this fucking patch and the patch notes are longer than any essay you've ever written for college, you're gonna really... shit. Oh yeah, we're just testing a scanner. Well, it works, but it doesn't detract my energy. So that's a problem. But no crashes, it seems. I think it's the... Why? Why is it not just... I don't understand why it's like that. Like, what the fuck? I don't understand why it needs to be complicated. Oh, it looks like Vic just fixed his side of things. Oh, I see. So this has to be like multiplied by 256. But it was working there. Oh wait, let me pull his changes real quick. There was some line over here somewhere down I commented. Here we go. All right, I'm closing and reopening this program. Let's see if we get any luck there, because it looks like it was still fucked. I don't need the byte operations stuff anymore, so... Yeah, it looks like it might be fixed anyway. Let's see if it builds. gonna take a while because I cleaned, so. What the fuck? Listen, Rust is not worth even looking at. If only it was a if only it had an IDE, if only it had fucking compiler support, if only it had common sense. I'm not working on these, but Veek updated his byte operations and broke a bunch of shit now, so. No. It must be destroyed. Curious. No. Yeah. Yeah, I saw you mention that. It is kind of an open question as far as like how much we want to redesign stuff, you know? Reasonable. Yeah, there's not much of a point in doing it anyway because you're still experiencing it in a vacuum. If we can figure out a way to make them work, yeah, it would be nice. Well, the biggest issue is occluding units below it and stuff like that. Like it was supposed to be sort of like how you can add more segments to the worm, to the Malcathalor. It's something similar. Where you're supposed to be able to like build additional pieces to make it bigger, and then you're creating another layer of build space basically. But I don't know how it would work really. They would have to like dynamically collide with one another. You'd also have to be able to like detach pieces if necessary. The Malcathalor. Dude, it's gonna be epic. I think the Cathrostalisk will be pretty good too. I just like the idea of it like raining Ultralisks down on people. Like, come on, that would be funny. Yeah. No kidding. I just saw that Flash got far while doing nothing but playing random. I haven't actually seen much. Is it in the bracket stage? Let's take a look. Oh, they're still in group stages? Oh, I know. Yeah, it looks like they're in they're the quarterfinals are selected by the looks of it. And he's going up against Rush. Dude, what a guy. I like how there's so many Zerg. Oh, okay. I haven't been able to test if the magical fix is working or not. I'm waiting for Veek to update his stuff. It says here he's 2-0, but is one of those seeded? So he already had an advantage, or I'm confused about that. He was in a group with Snow, Free, and Hero. But on it says 2-0, 3-0. So which one of these is his map record and which one of these is his... I'm assuming this is map record, like individual games, and this is match record, like best of 3. So it looks like he played 2 best of 3s. Although, oh, maybe that doesn't make any sense because he would have had to play... He would have had to win 4 if it was 2 best of 3s. So he must have already started 1 up. Yeah, I'm waiting for the Melkothalar. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the new engine, that's all. Let me know when you're done with that. I can't wait for that to happen, man. Oh, I see. So he played a best of 1 and then a BO3. Still, the Snow is not like a slouch, at least historically, so... Yeah, I wasn't sure what to do about the Elazaleth, but I think still haven't tapped in. You know, like there's that stupid movie about some woman who uses 100% of her brain or something and becomes a god or something like that. And it's obviously really stupid. Like it's super cringy concept because it's like some 8th grader who didn't do the research on a science project, except they wrote the story for that movie. So that anyway, the reason I bring that up is because I feel like I have not been using all of my brain when it comes to thinking up concepts for races, because I keep thinking subconsciously, oh, what if we can't do that, or what if we like, oh, that's too ambitious. So I just like get into a headspace where I stop considering ideas that would be too good or too big, too difficult to work into Brood War's engine. And after a while, it just becomes automatic. Instead of you considering something and then dropping it, you don't even think about it at all. And so once we get into an environment where we don't have to worry about that technical limitation and we can really just sort of like stretch out and be like, all right, I know what I want. I want something that does this or that or whatever. That's going to be really nice. So I'm looking forward to that. And that is, uh, at that point, I think I'll come up with some really cool ideas. Did Vika revert his version? Of course not. Hey, where does stuff go when I check it out, dude? Check it out. Yeah, it's pretty good, man. See what we can build. I think it'll be pretty big, if I had to guess. Okay, so okay, that seems correct. What else do we got? I still want to see if the... Oh, cool. It looks like whatever you fixed, Iquare, also fixed the problem that I was having with the Phobos, where I was firing double the missiles. And basically anything with a factor over 2 is doing that. I forget what else was like that, so that I could test it, but... right now it's 10 explosive damage. So you definitely want a little bit more in terms of their number in action. I guess the Empyrean was an example. Yeah, I was testing the Empyrean and I was like, what the fuck, that's way too many. Alright. Alright. It seems like this is working just fine. So, as far as I understand, Iquare, Thanks. What we want to do is we want to jump into this function, and where it's subtracting energy, we actually want to use the spend energy thing. Yeah, I haven't added it yet. I'm going to. So I'm not sure what that function is called. Spend unit energy. And then what does this function take? Come on, Visual Studio. You can do it. You can preview a function. Okay. Let's see if we need to multiply. Okay. Looks like we do. All right, so now all that's left is healing. Just see it light itself on fire. I mean, I know it's super niche, but still. One less bug. So now I think, yeah, so there's just 2 bugs that I know of left for the Savant now. Is that this does half the damage it's supposed to over time to the Corsair, and that it doesn't do any damage to medics while they're healing. But other than that, it's fully fun. I mean, the medic thing is definitely more important if there was like a tier list, because you could really imagine it being a useful ability against medics where suddenly like you tag them with it and they start hurting themselves. Like that's obviously really, really useful. So that would be like the number one thing, but I don't know what needs to be hooked for that to work. Yeah, I know. Oh, we both did the same thing. That's pretty funny. All right, so we'll say fix hook create scanner to fix savant entropy that's not working on scanner sweepcasts. So yeah, if you have a some sort of hook. Oh, I need to fix healing hook. Okay, is that in like some medic orders maybe? Orders medic heal 1. Do medic heal. I don't think I even worked on this. Maybe I did. Maybe this is one of like the really old hooks that I worked on. So let's jump into medic orders inject and see what we can find. Oh, 1 NOP is correct, so that's like always my first thing that I try to figure out when it comes to this stuff. Like, I assume that there's some problem. Because I didn't understand that when I was doing my first sets. Okay, so let's also take a look at the header file here and compare it to headquarters CPP. It's listed as a U32 in here. Just like it. I'll add some clarifying comments here. And yeah, I don't think this was my hook, but we'll see if we can figure out what the cause of it is. What the cause of the issue is. So we have a 1 stack arg, which is the target. That's the only thing that I can think of as far as what might be broken is it might be moving because the target is supposed to be the second argument, maybe because of the fact that target was being assigned first. It could be a problem. That's the only thing that immediately jumps out to me as a potential issue. So I think what happened is like back when I was first writing the AI for Hydra's melee AI, I actually started with Terrans, and when I did that, we did have a random obscure but very well, it wasn't super obscure, but it was like a very predictable like crash with Terrans, and I whittled it down to crashing with medics healing stuff, and then I think we disabled this function and that fixed it. But I'm not sure because it's not something that I'm like immediately like I don't know what the cause of it would be in theory. There's a lot of things that we could track down, but without starting to build it and play around with it in there, I don't know if it's particularly relevant. Well, there's definitely some bug. Unkillable zombie marine. Yeah, it was like one of those things where when power siphon was used, you could then use power transfer to pick. And like I think I probably would have made it so that if you didn't pick a target after a certain amount of time, it gave the energy to the savant or something, but or if you didn't pick a target, you would keep it obviously. But I like the idea of a unit like that. And the savant would probably have that behavior. Now that entropy gauntlets has replaced energy decay, I think that would be fine. Anyway, I've got no real idea why there would be some issue. Clearly the target is affected, but its hit points... What is this? If V7 is greater than 200, then V7 equals 200? But what is 200? I'm confused. Target set HP, target hit points plus V7. So it looks like something is wrong with the calculation for V7 here. Yeah, we probably should have, but we wouldn't have had a reasonable graphic for the warp relay, I don't think. Like, you obviously had your model, but that was very much that's man. That's like man, dude. Man mode model. Yeah, so it's like healing that much per tick max or something. But something is clearly wrong with how this is implemented. I like how it lists the unit and the medic and the target as ints instead of C units. That's pretty epic. Protoss man. Hell yeah, dude. Anyway, it looks like V4, 10, V4, V10. V10 is not even initialized, so 0 plus V4 HP, I guess. Seems a little goofy. So set unit HP. Oh no. It looks like V10 is supposed to be... written to somewhere, but it's not. So that's pretty stupid. This seems like it got fucked up somewhere. What's going on here? V10 is a variable that's never used. Vikings from some Korean multiplayer. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Viking, like Starcraft 2 Viking. Do you have any idea what the fuck is happening with this function? It's rare sight, yeah. It's every single function I've looked at has had a fucking obvious error. This one has multiple, like classing these as S32s instead of real things. Yeah, well, this variable that's never used happens in like I would say 1 out of 3 functions that I ever look at, so it's not very rare at all. I don't know what the fuck this is though. Unless it's storing this information somewhere else or something, but I think that there is some really obvious bug with hex rays where like if I go into another function and then come back, it didn't do it this time, but sometimes it'll completely shuffle stuff. Like it looks like it's supposed to be V8. So what should I do here then? Because I don't know what is causing the issue. In theory, this is completely sound. I mean, I don't know why it's auto instead of like int or something, but I also don't know why we have a shift to the right. I guess this is to multiply it by 256, but I don't know. That would have to be shifting to 8, so I don't know why it's shifting by 1. I also don't know what happens when you return 2. Exactly. Why would it be I'm really confused by returning 2. If it has the energy? What the fuck? I feel like this should be medic does not have energy or something, but I don't know. How dizzying. Alright, I guess we'll try it. I didn't really change anything, but maybe I'll get some more information as to what's happening here. This will tell us what the value it's trying to heal anyway, and then we can figure it out from there. I'm gonna have to get rid of all of these other debug messages. Because I can't see what value it's actually adding. I'm guessing that it needs to be divided by 256 or something. Minus 7860 HP, by the way. I don't know why it's negative, though. Maybe it's because it overflowed so much. I don't know. Well, I haven't seen that one before. It's dealing damage, dude. I am really confused by this. So it takes the max HP of the target, subtracts it from the hit points. Oh. Yeah. I wonder why. That was the bug right there, I'm pretty sure. I don't know why it would have been crashing, but that explains it. Oh, apparently it's not working. Even still. So basically it was getting the max HP, the unit stat max HP from target hit points instead of target ID. So like that was obviously a bug. No, I have not considered toiling through assembly. I already did that and it was shit. That was obviously whoever wrote this hook fucked that up initially. That's not has nothing to do with the fact that it was assembly, right? Because if you look at the hook itself, the function in here, that is not an error that was made in here. That was just whoever was writing this was sleepy when they wrote it or something. But now that that's fixed, I still have to figure out why it's not working. It was healing. It was just healing. Like before, it was healing to the point where it was overhealing. Or it was negatively healing or whatever. It was healing the wrong amount. So it was working as intended based on the code. So I don't think the wrapper is bugged because I feel like we would have had other issues. I also don't know what else would be bugged. I double checked the NOPS and one is correct. I double checked the address and that's correct as well. It's 463C40, which is what we have here. And I double checked the wrapper itself, and I made a change to move the target to EAX, or move EAX to the target, and then like basically move the A2 first, and then move A1. So I don't know what else would be wrong with this system. Yeah, that's it. No other RTS was worth it. I mean, even Brood War is not worth it, so. Yeah, they're both EAX, so I pop EAX, or sorry, I push EAX, I move the stack to EAX, move target to EAX, or move EAX to target, move stack to EAX, right? And then I pop EAX and move EAX to medic, and then I push. I can't see anything else that would be a problem here. So here it has energy, it's returning 2 over and over again. So the only thing I could think of is that this was supposed to be inverted. Because I don't know why you'd be returning before you actually spend the energy if you have the energy. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You would only not do it if you didn't have the energy. I don't know what I'm missing about that. Yeah, it works now. It seems to be working as it was before. That's pretty good, I think. I think it's working. We'll see if AI medics work as well, because AI medics were crashing, and I don't know if player medics weren't. And so I would just want to make sure that everything's above board there as well. There is a medic somewhere around there. Yeah, seems okay. Everything seems to be working. It will do reverse heal. I think I had some concept for infested medics that were going to heal the enemy organic targets to become infested. That was my goal. Yeah, I already tested Nanite Field a while ago, and I tested the Madrigal earlier, and it looked like it was fine as well. All right, so I think we can safely say that Disruption Web, dealing half the damage that it should, is the only thing that is left at this point. So. I asked you about it earlier. I don't think you responded. I just sent you it in DM. But I have to add it to the document, so I may as well do that now. I have a write-up of it somewhere. We're looking at 50 plus 2 explosive damage. Oops. Oh shit, I forgot what I called the observatory again. And yeah, Excision was his. It wasn't a campaign, but it was like a co-op versus AI multiplayer project. I really like the idea of co-op versus AI stuff like that. It's too bad it never got off the ground because that would have been pretty fun to play for Fraud Night. I would have loved to like contribute AI to it and all sorts of stuff, but you know, it is what it is. Dude, can you imagine warp relays? I would love to have those as well. I mean, technically they were implemented, but yeah, it was Hoop Thrower. He was going to use Leviathan Wakes as the basis for his campaign for the full toilet, but he got busy, I guess. So. He's out of here. Wait, do I still have? Oh, I still have all the relics in here. I should probably get rid of those. Save them to a dock. Dude, why? For some reason, deleting? Okay, I don't know why. Maybe that's just some weird clipboard bug. Maybe it's like, I don't know. No idea. Yeah, we played it a few times and we got some crashes. I even debugged them for him, but no luck. Exactly. Yeah. I mean that's one of the main things that I pointed out or wanted to point out when it came to that sort of thing. Yeah, not you can't even include it in the game for players to use, let alone for AI, yeah. Yeah, they pretty much do, but they also have a lot of really versatile units, so I mean that's what the autocrat is meant to be as a top tier infantry unit, but we don't have the I don't think we really have a lot of room to add it in, you know. In a way that would feel well integrated because I would want like, you know, madcaps are basically meant to be these like tier 2 marines in a sense that trade out on mobility for DPS. And then I would want there to be like a tier 3 and tier 4 and tier 5 and so on, like version of that like continues to change up, like bring different things. And then your decision is either laying into that, leaning into that for the added DPS, but changing up your positional tactics, or keeping to the previous tier or jumping ahead to another tier or something like that, so that you can keep mobility. Well, it's just that the current patch is weeks behind the one that I've been working on for a long time. So. I'm assuming this will just end up being a new engine thing rather than worrying about that right now. Okay. Well, that's where we find ourselves after 2 hours of work. Pretty good, I think. Gonna take a break, stretch my legs, probably work on stuff for about maybe another half hour or so before I call it quits. I'm not really sure what's next on the list of things to do. I can definitely start plugging in some wireframes from June 3 Hong. So that'll definitely be on the list. But as far as everything else is concerned, I could close this untitled notepad file. Let's take a look here. So, mind control cancel button, disruption web, air weapons, and entropy gauntlet stuff. I can get rid of this. Note. What else? The Gladius bounce behavior. I'm gonna reorganize my like tier list or whatever. Okay. But yeah, we've got to the point where I think we can just focus on some like small things that are left to do, like aesthetic stuff related to art or whatever, with the wireframes and whatnot, and then I can maybe there will be some hooks that I can make that will help some of these other changes. So I'll DM you the latest list. All right, so I'll be right back, and when I come back, wireframes and maybe do a couple hooks or something. Hi, I have returned. Got a message of man about a squid. No, I have to do the AI changes pretty soon. We're coming up on no longer being able to put that off, if you know what I mean. Let's move this to the design folder. Oh yeah, that should say enables bar guests. This should say Archons and Dark Archons. That's the wrong string. And then enables carriers. I'm wondering why some of our strings got swapped. I noticed that that was also the case for the bar guest training string for some reason. I hope I didn't delete a string somewhere. But I guess at the same time, it's like stellar Protoss structures. At the same time, it just wouldn't be here at all if it was deleted. Like something would be completely missing, I feel like. And there would also be way more of like a a greater number of strings that were fucked up. So it's more likely that I just didn't notice. On it, well, I don't know, man. That does seem a little suspicious because there's really no reason for that to have ever changed, I feel like. It does look like these got swapped. Like one should be above the other. Like obviously this is the original file. So it looks like Arbiter Tribunal is supposed to be above. In which case, if that, I mean, is again, like, there's not really a reason for that. But maybe I just fucked it up when I was editing it, or hit some hotkey that did it or something. I guess that can be, that's more likely. As long as something didn't get deleted. Because I'm always super fucking scared of that. Okay. Um, 78. The only reason some of these units are only for transport space is because anything greater breaks the UI. And it's unlikely to be easy to fix that, so... Pretty much all we got. Okay, aside from that, though, enables Clarions should be enables bar guests, synthetic synod, should be enables architects, and then we should be looking at enables augur. Oh no, it's archons. Dark archons enables pariahs and augurs. That's fine. I think everything else was correct. I don't remember what the Amaranth requires. I don't know if that's the Ecclesi. I think maybe the Ecclesiast requires the... Oh no, that's the one that requires Citadel of Adun or Ancestral Effigy. So what does the Amaranth require? Citadel of Adun, okay. Alright, yeah, that should be fine then, I guess. I don't think there's anything incorrect there. I think I was going to change it so that the Gladius requires... Yeah, it's already like that. So Celestial Shriner must have Cosmic Altar. So Celestial... or Gladius requires Celestial Shriner or Cosmic Altar. So that's correct. But then there's... Yeah, I should double check all the other ones. But anyway. We'll save this. We will close this. Import that. That'll cover the wireframes. And the string changes. So then if I look at a probe now... Probably like 4 or 5. There were a few good attempts. I think the most recent one was obviously the most promising, but the engine is the main problem there. Alright, so that's fine. Okay. Let's try to improve the graphic for the Robotics Authority. I do need to jump back to the wireframe area so that I can grab the updated stuff. Is it 12 or is it 11 or something? I forget what it is. Oh yeah, I guess I should replace Battlemobile. Madcap. All right. Trying to remember if there were any other like graphical things that I wanted to mess around with here. This looks pretty much the same, I think. I wonder if maybe... No, I guess that does look like that's what it is. I was gonna say it should probably be a bit darker. Oh no, it is definitely darker in this. Maybe even too dark. So... Oh, I know what happened. I just didn't... That is the wrong thing. I would like to forget that, personally. Yeah, with Hey Man. That was Chalks' contribution. Yeah. Alright, that's a little bit better. What's my frame dimension here? 2516. 7 by 17 is 148. I forgot about Charlie, actually. That is funny. Because doesn't Raynor say something like, "What the hell is that?" And he just goes, "I'm Charlie," and that's the end of the conversation. Oh, yeah, it just says snake. What a fucking mentally ill cameo. I can't wait to have more insane stuff like that. Brace yourselves. It's coming. The one where they're like getting there is a cutscene at the end of that map, and I did make it, so yes. I feel like it was probably really easy to get bugged depending on the game state, though. That was like a real big challenge that I had. I remember like really worrying about how to make it so that it wouldn't be fucked up in that way, basically. No, there we go. No, I only did Terran stuff for like remastered Hydra. Oh, we're gonna need to make a new shadow. I guess in theory we don't have to. We could just like cut out that whole lower bit. But we might as well. You know what? I think need to put some music on real quick. Hold on a second. Trying to remember what that fucking song was that I kept listening to at work a while ago. Oh man, I can't. Is this actually in 240p? No, it's not, but it might as well be. There we go. More reasonable. Oh, I have to the folder. Okay. All right, new shadow for this coming up, and then I think it'll be pretty much as good as it's gonna get. I mean, I might be able to tweak the gradient a little bit more later on, but it's not a huge priority now that it's not as much of an obvious eyesore. I'm trying to think about what might be good other than that. Oh. Technically, these images are fine, but the graphic will show up as corrupted for PyGRP. I guess that doesn't matter, honestly. Let's take a look. Oh, Vargas string is still fucked up? I must have fixed that and then closed up Firegraph without actually saving or something. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Pretty good commit IMO. We're going to get a Tran wire from June 3 hung, and then I'll update the Madcap wireframe as well. But honestly, I think the Protoss are pretty well set. Obviously, I have to take another look at everything, but from a zoomed out perspective right now, I think they're pretty good and pretty well off there. So pretty happy with that. Feeling pretty good about that. Just saying. I'll probably get some more work done off stream later on. I got to prep for that interview that I have later today and then do some more prep for some other stuff afterwards. So I will be going for now, but today was definitely a nice way to like start today off with this stream. Hopefully I'll be able to do more morning streams as time goes on. Unless I get started super early tomorrow, I don't think I'll be able to do a morning one tomorrow just because I've got a interview scheduled for like that weird time where it's like maybe I still could. It really depends on how much prep I get done today. So we'll see. I'll aim for that anyway. But it's a little too early to be thinking about tomorrow right now. I got to think about what I got to do later on today. So I'll be catching you guys there for some more action. Thanks everybody who hung out, and thanks Iquire for your help with the programming stuff. I don't know if Veek is still here, but thank you for helping with the programming stuff too in our DMs. And yeah, I'll be catching you guys sometime soon. Stay tuned.